Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's the new release, Reminiscence. Welcome, everybody, or whoever's not there right now. I know YouTube probably never sent the notification, which is par for the course right now. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media, so Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. And I have links to this YouTube channel page, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page for people to post stuff and chat amongst themselves. All right, so I'm going to do a non-spoiler version first, and then we'll go into the spoilers. So, what is Reminiscence about? What is it, I should say, without spoiling it? It's a sci-fi movie that is set in the future, of course, and people can. This isn't giving anything away, really. People can get into a machine and remember their best memories is what it is, and basically it feels like they're there again, and that's what a lot of people are doing. They're just kind of reliving the same memories over and over and over again. And this is kind of a noir-ish thriller, sci-fi, if you will, with Hugh Jackman and Thandie Newton. And of course, it's written and directed by Lisa Joy, who, of course, Westworld. So that's why Thandie Newton is there, and also Clementine. Remember Clementine from Westworld? The actress being Angela Serafin. She's in it as well. And there's a love story that's involved in this, of course, and Hugh Jackman is trying to find out where this girl that he loved disappeared to. And he's using his memories to find out where she went. There's a more involved story to it, especially with noir, where you go to. And that's about all I can say without giving anything away. So, is it worth your time? It isn't really. So, this movie, by the way, is in theaters and in HBO Max simultaneously. HBO Max only for 30 days, and then it disappears and remains in the theaters only. So it's really not worth your time. There's a MacGuffin in this that doesn't work when you sit there and analyze it out, which I'll go into in the spoilers version of this. But it really doesn't work in the context of the movie. There's no reason for this movie to exist. The plot of this movie to exist. It's a Rube Goldberg, it's more complicated than it needs to be, is really what it is. It's a very, very complex plot for no reason, is really what it is when you get down to it. And like I said, I'll go into that in the spoiler section. So, yeah, even though you got a lot of good actors and actresses in this, it's really not a great movie. And yeah, it just kind of meandered is really where it went. Also, it's got one of my favorite actors in there too, who's very, very underrated. Cliff Curtis. He's in it too, and he's been in better. So is Hugh Jackman. So pretty much everyone has been in better than this. So with that said, let me get into it here. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the rest of the movie. If you have not seen the movie, good for you. You can go and watch it. You can come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. All right. Yes. Last chance. Okay. All right. So, it's revealed at the end that May, who Hugh Jackman's character falls in love with, is basically just scamming him so she can get into the vault that he has with all the memory chips. so that um, she can steal um, this one woman's memory chips because her and Cliff Curtis's character, Cyrus Booth, May and Cyrus, um, basically are there to steal the memory chips of this one woman because she had an affair with this rich dude who is dying. And the rich dude had a son with this woman, Elsa. And she's been reliving the same memory over and over again of him promising that he's going to take care of them. And his legitimate son wants them to erase all memory or all traces of the kid. And that includes killing, of course, Elsa and the child as well. So that's what this whole thing's about. So the only way to get into the vault is a key card, which Thandie Newton's character has. And then we also find out the other version of it is a song that Hugh Jackman's character hums into, I guess, a speaker, which also, when he puts the key card in and then he hums the song, it opens up the vault. Well, okay, do they need his voice in order to do that? No, they don't. They just need the song. Well, Cyrus already knows what the song is because they've basically been investigating all of this. So May and Cyrus already know what the song is. All they need really is the chip, the card from Thandie Newton's character, who's a drunk. So all they need to do is get her drunk, grab the card, and they're done. They're through. But no, they go through this whole convoluted process of her um, essentially conning Hugh Jackman's character, Nick, into falling in love with her by basically they set all these things in motion. And she ends up falling in love with him, of course. May is coerced into all of this. And it's like I said, it's a lot more complicated than it really needs to be. I was just thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, you had all the pieces of the puzzle to begin with. All you needed was the key card. You already had what the song was, and you could have easily, gotten the chip that you needed. So yeah, and it was trying to be film noirish, and it wasn't film noirish. And then you also have the backdrop of Florida, and I believe it's supposed to be Miami, with the sea waters rising, of course, and people were having, there's a domestic war that had happened within the United States, a border war as well, and all kinds of stuff. So you had people that were veterans of wars that had lasted a long time. And so they kind of added all this stuff in. So they're trying to put in recent events. There's actually one little mention of a certain orange dude who was in power. It was kind of funny, it made me chuckle. It's a blink and you miss it thing. It's on the wall when he's riding the subway and he mentions something about it, and you see something about a tyrant that's posted on the wall back there, which I thought was funny. And it falls flat. It really does fall flat. And this is it would have been a great like TV movie, I guess you could say, or not even a great TV movie. It would have been a passable TV movie. Not something I would have paid to see in the theaters. If I paid to see this in the theaters, I probably would have been pissed off, to tell you the truth. Raymond says, was the flood a comment on climate change? Yeah, it's supposed to be rising sea levels. So we know that Florida is basically going to disappear when the sea levels start rising, as are most of the coastal cities. And that's what it was supposed to be, was that the sea levels were rising and poor people were the ones that were being screwed out of everything. And all the rich people owned all the dry land, all the poor people did not. So yes, it could be like a precursor to Waterworld, if you will, or a prequel to Waterworld, if you will. But so yeah, the noir part just really didn't. I don't know. It didn't do. At first, I was into it, and then when they got to the point where they explained everything at the end of like how they already had the song and all they needed was the chip, and I was like, well, why did you go through all this whole exercise of doing this? And then May having a convenient drug habit, a drug addiction that they could exploit in order to use her. And yeah, it kind of drew it grinded is what happened. It grinded things out, which would have worked well for Westworld. If you were doing a Westworld plot, it would have been fine, but it doesn't work in a movie, in a 2-hour movie, which this is. It's just a little over 2 hours on that, if I remember correctly. I want to say it's like 2 hours and 12 minutes or something like that. But yeah, 1 hour and 56 minutes. There we go. So not the best movie. Raymond says this movie did so many right turns it gave me whiplash. What genre would you say this is? It's noir. It wants to be Blade Runner, but it's not Blade Runner. Um, that's pretty much what it wanted to be. Raymond says at the end, how do you survive without sustenance? Yeah, that's the other thing too, is the main character Nick ends up making a deal with the cops because he's what he did is Cyrus, Curtis's character. Um, he's a bad guy, Cliff Curtis's character. He's a bad guy. He's been burned. So what he does is he drugs him, throws him into the memory chamber. And the thing is, if you turn it up enough, the voltage, you can sear memory into someone's brain, and basically that's all they relive over and over and over again. And so he goes with the memory of Cyrus being burned um, by the bad guys he was working with, of course. And that's all Cyrus feels now. It's just being burned alive kind of thing. And that's, of course, an evil thing to do. You get put to jail, for it. And Nick's character makes a deal with the cops after he reveals where the kid is and who's going to share the inheritance with the other kid. Basically, the bastard kid and the legitimate kid are going to split the inheritance, is what's going to happen. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a convoluted plot. And so Nick ends up in this chamber. Hugh Jackman's character ends up in this chamber where he cranks it up and he's supposedly going to live in this chamber forever. And we see Thandie Newton as an old woman taking care of an old Nick who's still inside the tank. And they kind of briefly touched on it with Thandie Newton's character, Emily. She got a new job at a higher end memory facility. And actually, they're putting all these like old people into memory tubes and then like submersing them in water. It's not explained at all. It's like a really brief, yeah. Oh, and your dad's going to be great. He's going to be reliving the same memory over and over again. And you don't have to worry about upkeep or anything like that. And they turn away. And I was like, well, so you're going to put in another MacGuffin at the very last minute so that we can have Nick's character live on forever, or in bliss within the memories that he has of May, because May dies. Yeah. Yeah, Raymond. So I don't know how he survives with decades without sustenance. It just, yeah. They're pickling him. They could be. They are in jars. So yeah, it's a bad movie. It's just it wasn't thought out again. Like I said, I keep saying this about movies and scripts is that and the thing is, it's surprising that this came from Lisa Joy. Lisa Joy usually thinks out her stuff, and now I'm starting to rethink that maybe she's not, and I'm kind of worried about Westworld now. Yeah, just because of this, it's one of those things I was kind of looking at going, you missed a very simple little detail there that kind of erases your whole movie's being, and then you throw in a MacGuffin near the end, and yeah, just man. Raymond asked me, would you do a memory chamber? What PG memory would you relive? No, memory chambers are for suckers. So, Mork says, good thing you did Witcher instead of this movie last week. Yeah, there was a reason why I did Witcher last week instead of this movie. I was going to be a lot more harsh on this movie if I did it last week. It was not a good thing for me on that. So, Raymond says, "Well, season 3 of Westworld fell flat for me." I liked the ending. I liked where they left off in the end. Um, so I do like Westworld. I mean, Westworld is good. They have a lot of potential of stuff. And but now, like I said, I'm worried about it because of this movie. And like I said, Lisa Joy was the one who was responsible for this script, and it worries me. It worries me greatly. So yeah. And you think Westworld is meh, Morks? Okay. I like it. I think it's good. It does bring up a lot of questions of stuff which are interesting when you in sci-fi kind of thing. Sorry, I was looking at the little dog over there on the couch. All right. So what else do I have going on this week? Well, tomorrow is going to be another episode of What If. That's right, Marvel's What If. Thursday is going to be Morks's favorite show. That's right, we're got Titans, a new episode of Titans. Friday, I'm off. Saturday is Saturday morning blast off where I take the genre news of the weekend. Any genre stuff you guys want to talk about, we talk about it. Sunday is another episode of Spoiler Alert, basically where we talk about anything spoilerish. So yes, if you've seen Shang-Chi, I'm probably not going to end up seeing it because it's in theaters only. Go ahead and spoil it. That's fine. I don't mind. Monday, I'll be off. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? But I don't know what I'm doing as of yet. We'll find out. Raymond says, in your opinion, who's the best working female director? Catherine Bigelow. Catherine Bigelow is the best. She was married to James Cameron, and I kind of think that she taught James Cameron everything he knows. Yeah. Yeah. You're so bored. You're watching Dune, 1984. Dune's good. The 80s version. Yeah, I like that version. You know what actually would have helped this movie, to tell you the truth? Thinking about it now, thinking about Dune, is if they did a voiceover. So if they did a Raymond Chandler-esque voiceover kind of thing, it might have helped this movie a little bit. And also if they got rid of the stupid MacGuffin of the song being the way of getting into the vault. Yeah. And just made it that they needed, I don't know, his biometric rhythm or something like that. I mean, that would have been plausible where, it's only his, he had to be alive and he had to touch something on the vault in order to get the vault to open, you know? That would have worked. So I don't know. And then also change the MacGuffin of the ending of, and he's lived forever in a happy memory while someone else cleans up after him and keeps him alive. Yeah, again, not the best movie that Hugh Jackman's done. He's done some stinkers too. And honestly, Thandie Newton was the best thing in this movie too. I want to go back and just say that she was actually the best thing in this movie, and her character really wasn't fleshed out. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of missing pieces to this movie, stuff that could have been written so much better. And I think the draft of the script was kind of rushed into production. It should have been polished a little bit more. I keep telling Apple Crow, he needs to polish those jokes and rework them. That's exactly what needed to happen with this script. It needed to be polished up a little bit more. It needed to be thought out a little bit better. And for God's sakes, it needed a fucking better ending. At least, without the MacGuffin going on there. Raymond says, "Did you like the action I did in this movie?" It was okay. I mean, I've seen better in this, and I've seen better on Westworld, to tell you the truth. So it was all right. I mean, the directing was capable and everything like that. It's nothing against Lisa Joy. I actually enjoy a lot of the stuff that she's done. Like I said, I like Westworld, and she's a good chunk of Westworld there. her and her husband, Jonathan Nolan. So yeah, it's not anything against her. It's just the script needed to be really polished and need to be thought out better. Otherwise, it was perfectly passable. It could have worked. Mark says, "I hope Hugh doesn't go the Nick Cage route." That would be interesting. That really would be interesting. I'm really interested to see this movie that's coming out with Nick Cage, the one where he plays a version of himself, and what is it, the unbearable lightness of being me, or something like that, or I can't remember what it is. Um, it's got some ridiculous Nicolas Cage title, but it looks funny, unintentionally and also intentionally at the same time. I think he's kind of going now the Jean Claude Van Damme route is where Nick Cage is going. Yeah, and I've heard that Pig is actually pretty good. Not Pig, not Pig. I haven't seen Pig, but I've heard it's actually good. People have been saying that it's good. I don't know. We'll see. Uh, yeah, Jean Claude Van Johnson was just fucking hilarious. I mean, I went back and rewatched it like a couple of months ago, and it makes me laugh. It really does. It had some really good stuff to it. It was it was good writing. It was a good story, and it was smart. That was the whole thing, and it worked well for him. It really did. It really worked, and it also added in his whole thing about him aging. So it actually was a perfect vehicle for an aging action star. And fuck Amazon for actually, killing that before it was going good too. You had time travel entering that last episode, and then they killed it. Yeah. Yeah. I want the second half of that first season as well, Penn. I really do. History of Swear Words kind of work. Yeah, History of Swear Words was okay. I mean, I can see Nick Cage being a host of something, some kind of tongue in cheek thing. He could go the Sean Bean route and do voiceovers for like history reenactment stuff. Like, what was it? There's a thing on Netflix about the emperors of Rome, and Sean Bean uh, did the entire voiceover for it. And it was pretty funny. You could tell he's reading the script. He's just sitting there reading the script as he's going through it, and there's no inflection to it. I'm like, then I saw that was that him narrating it. I'm like, really, dude? Really? Yeah. Penn says time travel usually draws you in unless it's Outlander. Well, that's on Stars one and two. Fuck Outlander. I'm sorry, but it's the reason why so many shows on Stars got canceled. And yeah, I can never watch that. It is the reason why so many shows got canceled on Stars. Yeah, and those motherfuckers keep emailing me saying, "Come on back, watch some more stuff on Stars." I'm like, "Why? You don't have anything I want to watch anymore. You got rid of everything that was good." Because it didn't fit your demographic. And I'm not your demographic. So why are you emailing me to watch more Stars and subscribe? Oh, that's right, because you're losing subscribers. I know what that's like. Anyway, Nick Cage for Jeopardy host. Oh, Morks, that could almost work. That's crazy enough to work. I could see that. Yeah, I can see Nick Cage as Jeopardy host. That would work. We should start a petition. Uh, Penn says, I know it's not the show's fault that Stars execs are idiots. I'm still going to blame it anyway. Yeah, I'll never forgive them for Counterpart and also Ash versus Evil Dead. Although I also blame Tappert for the last season of Ash versus Evil Dead. Because Tappert's an asshole. So, anyway, I digress. Bad movie. Don't see it. Even though it's on HBO Max, don't give into it. Watch some other stuff. Watch Suicide Squad again. It's that's a decent movie. Yes, it is violent. And I just have to say, there was somebody on Twitter, and I can't remember who the person was. It was nobody famous really. That was going, I only got 20 minutes into Suicide Squad and I had to turn it off because it was so violent. How come comic book movies need to be so violent? And it's like, did you see the fucking R rating on it? The R rating's there for a reason. Also, just because it's a comic book movie doesn't mean it's for kids. Just like comic books aren't all for kids. So, yeah, I bring up the old argument every now and then about comic books are a medium, just like animation is a medium. Movies are a medium. TV is a medium, and you can have different kinds of people watching it, different age groups, and you can have different stories that reach different people. It's just a way of telling a story. It's a medium to tell a story, just like books are a medium to tell a story. DVDs are a medium to tell a story. Yeah, there we go. Penn says, I expect comic book violence in comic book. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Shazam, I would say, is probably the most kid-friendly comic book movie that's come out recently, and that has violence in it. You literally have a boardroom full of people get slaughtered by demons, by the seven deadly sins. You don't see it, you hear it, but yeah, it's a boardroom full of people that actually get slaughtered by the seven deadly sins. And that's in a kids movie, or a kids movie, if you will. So anyway, I digress. I should probably let you guys go for the night. I want to thank everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. It's up here, actually. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all my pages. The links to all my pages are on there as well. So check the schedule. That's right. I've actually taken now, there's a little thing on YouTube called Community, and I've been posting on Community as well just before I go on, just so people know when I'm coming on. Because I believe that notifies everyone who has subscribed to the channel and lets them know, hey, there's a post, you know. Yeah, I believe that's, you guys tell me what happens, because I haven't seen it. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may wind up in a city where the water is rising rapidly and nothing can save you but the MacGuffin of something that's brought in last minute and not explained very well. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow for What If. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, even get the third one if you can. And I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care. And I'll see you then. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks.